Welcome back to the channel. My name is Bondo, and today we're going to check out the Studfinder from Music City Bridge, the compensated wraparound tailpiece for Les Paul Juniors. And even more specifically, we're going to look at the extreme offset bridge that comes with a Les Paul Jr. The extreme offset usually happens with older Gibson Les Paul Juniors. There's reissues and newer Les Paul Juniors. The offset isn't as bad as this. This is not an older Les Paul Jr. This is a 57 custom shop historic Gibson Les Paul Jr. made in 2007. So while Les Paul Juniors are iconic and awesome, they have their quirks, they have their issues, they have their problems. The Studfinder promises to eliminate the extreme offset that you have with these studs, making the bridge straight instead of at this extreme offset angle. It will also prevent tipping, because whenever you try to straighten this out by screwing in the hex screws, you create a lot of airspace between the stud and the hex screw, which can allow for the bridge to kind of tip forward. I don't have that issue with this one. I've always felt this one's been pretty set up well, but the pole pieces of the pickup don't line up with the strings. The action's a little bit higher than I would like it. With the Studfinder, you can have a lower action. You won't have the sitar buzz on the E string that these are prone to do. I decided to reach out to Music City Bridge to find out more about the Studfinder, because they offer a Studfinder and they also offer a Savvy. The Savvy is for other Les Paul Juniors, newer ones, and reissues that don't have the severe offset that this particular model has, as well as just older style Gibson Les Paul Juniors. So unfortunately, the one I need, the Studfinder, is a little more expensive. It's $150. It's a $20 upcharge if you want it aged. You can send them a picture of the bridge that you have, which I did, so that they could age it to look like the old one. So far, Music City Bridge has been awesome. They've responded to every email I've had. I've sent them pictures, placed my order, and I got the thing in probably just a couple days, really, and didn't pay any extra for shipping. The profile of this bridge, it's kind of high. It's got a large, high profile for the strings to travel over, so it makes it kind of difficult to get lower action. One of the things with the Studfinder is, because of the lower profile of the bridge, you're able to get lower action. It closes the gap of air that you'll have here if you screw in the hex screw all the way. You'll have metal on metal contact, which makes sense. You'll have more sustain. The Studfinder also corrects the issue of like a sitar buzz that you have with your high E string. I've not had that issue with this guitar, so that's not a problem for me. One thing I may need to do is swap out these studs. Gibson used a lot of different size studs, so this bridge may not fit it, but Music City Bridge does offer replacement studs. Another issue we have with this particular bridge is that the way that the holes are drilled that the strings go through, they don't allow for proper alignment over the pole pieces on your pickup. Everything's a little off. Low E looks alright, but after that everything's pretty off. So this bridge is the only bridge that I've had on this guitar. I've not tried any other of the replacement Les Paul Jr. bridges, which brings me to my next point. This is not a sponsored video. Music City Bridge did not reach out to me to review this product. I spent my own money on this in attempts to make this instrument a better instrument, and also just to check it out and see what the process is, see if it does what it claims to do. Hopefully this goes as smooth as possible. We're going to tune this up. We're going to take a look at the tuner, and I'm going to check the intonation at the 12th fret, and we'll just see where we're at to begin with. I know when you check your intonation, you want to have a fresh set of strings on there. These ones are pretty new. They'll just have to do for today. Going to tune her up. There's our E. A little sharp on the E. There's our B. A little sharp on the B. Here's our G. A little sharp on it. Kind of in and out of tune on that one. There's our D. A little flat. Same issue as the G. It's not too awful bad. It's not off very much at all. I've always been pretty happy with the way this guitar's been set up, but I've always felt it could be a little bit better. Let's give the Studfinder a shot, shall we? So yeah, this here is the Studfinder from Music City Bridge that we're going to be checking out today. I already opened it up. Comes with a business card and a Allen key wrench, so we can adjust the hex screws in here to achieve proper intonation. Oh, it's a sticker. It's not a card. We've got a Allen key or a hex key, and we've got the tailpiece. Let's take a look at the tailpiece. All right, so here I have the two bridges. This is the stock bridge that came off of the Les Paul Jr., and here's the replacement. I mean, they both feel about the same in weight, but they definitely look different. All right, we're back here with our Les Paul Jr., a fresh set of strings and a Studfinder. I've been sitting here strumming it, loosening up the strings, getting it in tune. I did have to tweak it a little bit with the Allen wrench that came with it. You just make sure that both of the E's are in tune. Whenever you're checking for intonation, just make sure those two are in and everything else takes care of itself. So I think I've done that here. I did have to actually, the stud here on the treble side was all the way in with the old bridge. I did have to raise it just a little bit because I thought it was buzzing when I'd go for a bend. So yeah, I raised the other side up just a little bit too, but it feels a lot slinkier. The action is not nearly as high. It feels really good. So acoustically, it sounds great. These guitars sound awesome acoustically anyway. There's a little bit of muffling with the older bridges. I think this is definitely clearer. They don't ever say what alloy this metal is, which I think is interesting, but they also probably don't want people to rip off the thing that they spent so much time creating. I think it sounds great. I think it looks great. It feels great. It was real easy to set up. I was afraid I might have to order lockable studs. Everything seems to be working all right. I don't think that the strings quite line up with the pole pieces on there. It's close. It's closer. I don't know. You be the judge. So let's see if we're in tune here. Have you used a replacement bridge for a Les Paul Jr.? Tell me about your experience with a Music City bridge. Tell me your experience with any Les Paul Jr. Tell me in the comments. Talk about it. I have to know. I do like how this guitar plays now that I have this new Studfinder on it. The action's a little bit lower. The strings just feel a little bit slinkier. It's just a better playing instrument now. I also think that acoustically the instrument is a lot louder and clearer. Strings ring out. There's no sitaring. There's no tipping. I don't really see any tipping. Maybe a little bit of tipping. Maybe a little bit. Don't get rid of your original bridges for these guitars because it's going to decrease the value if you get rid of your old bridge. So don't get rid of your old bridge. Hang on to that. Just keep it in the case. But if you want your guitar to be a player, you want to do things to it to make it more playable. So in this case, I think it's worth it to me to put a Studfinder on this instrument. It plays better. It's slinkier. The intonation seems to be better. So I'm going to keep it on here for a while and see how things work out. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. We'll see you later.